In case you missed last week's red carpet, the young leading lady Emma Watson sported this sultry look at the New York premiere of Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. Take note because Emma is all grown up and totally this season's fashion it girl, always sporting the chicest haute couture gowns with the makeup to match. If you're looking for stunning evening makeup, stay tuned and see how I accomplish this look. We'll start by gathering our makeup and tools. Powder, foundation, a cream highlighter, bronzer, a warm apricot blush, black gel, pigment, and eyeliner, a gold pencil and pigment, nude, bronze, and gray eyeshadows, a brow gel, and concealer, imitation gold leaf, lash glue, tweezers, and your blackest mascara. For brushes, a duo fiber, a large buff, a small buff, a tapered blending, a flat synthetic, a large C-shape, a flat angled, and a small lip brush. And then some Q-tips. For lips, we're just going to use an apricot lip stain or gloss. On to the fun stuff. We'll start with our foundation, and I'll use a large buff brush. Just dab some onto the skin, and use the brush to work it in. Make sure to work down the neck and blend down the décolleté a bit as well, especially if you're wearing an open dress. To start on the eyes, we'll use the bronze shadow to begin contouring the socket bone. Grab your tapered blending brush for this step. Start near the bridge of the nose and work outward in a sweeping windshield wiper motion, using your crease as a guide. Don't worry about getting this part perfect, it's only the first layer of what will eventually be a very defined smoky eye. Because this look has a wing, we're going to use some Scotch tape to cheat a little bit. To prevent damaging the skin, first place a piece on the back of your hand, and then peel it off a few times before placing it near your eye. The angle on this wing is subtle, so instead of angling the edge of the tape up towards the end of my brow, I'll be using the angle of my lower lashes as a guide outward. Guides on, we'll be using a black gel eyeliner as a base for the general shape, and a synthetic brush. Starting at the outer corner, use the edge of your brush to draw a line along the edge of the tape, and then into the crease of the eye. Stop about 2/3 way across, and then start filling it in. I like filling in one side first so I can start working on the other side and compare as I go to make sure they're even. Now we're going to use a cotton swab to soften the edges of the shape. Just take off some excess cotton to have more control. And work it along the edges. Wing now defined and our edges softened, we're free to remove the tape so we can move on to the next step, which is eyeliner. We're going to take it to line the inner rim of the eye, both top and bottom. Then use it to join the lower lash with the wing at the outer corner, pulling outward slightly. Got the feeling that they were looking back at me. Thoughts that occurred to me, that of
for granted. No, I don't call them mine. I don't call them mine.
Now we'll use a gold pencil to cover the tear duct and inner third of the lid. If you don't have a gold cream-based product, you can pop some white pencil or shadow primer in the tear duct to create a solid base and make that inner corner pop. You can also skip this step entirely if your pigment or shadow is strong enough to pop against the black shadow. My eyes tend to water, so I like to put down a base to make it last longer. Now that we have our creamy base down, we can move on to pigment or shadow if you like. I like using loose pigment because it tends to create a more intense look, especially when you pat it into a creamy base. I'm using my large C-shaped brush, and I'm just going to pour some of the pigment down so I can pick it up on my brush.
You know who you are, where you dreaming to, 'cause in my life.
Using a patting motion, gently press it into the lid, filling in the shape we made earlier with a black gel liner. Avoid the inner third of the eye and softly pull out at the wing. And then to seal in the eyeliner, use the edge of the brush pulling along the lower lashes. Moving on to gold pigment. I'm going to use my lip brush for this because it's small, flat, and tapered, which is perfect to get into this small area. Pick up some of the pigment on the side of your brush and press it into the tear duct. Once you've done that, use a pulling motion to create a gradient between the colors.
Then on my way home.
Using loose pigments can be tricky, so if necessary, take this opportunity to clean up any fallout before moving on. The space between Emma's brows and eyes happens to be much smaller than mine, which makes it a lot more intense. So I'm going to use my razor sharp angled brush and a brow gel to make my brows look fuller and at the same time pull them down a little bit. I'm going to start by filling in part of my arch to make them a little bit straighter. Now to take the look from smoky to smoldering, I'm going to use this charcoal gray shadow and a small tapered brush to work the inner corners of the socket bone. I'll just work back and forth in a really tight motion up into the brow. Then use whatever's left on your brush to sort of soften that, and then run it along the crease to soften the edges of the wing, pulling outwards. Work a little bit down the bridge of the nose as well to frame the tear duct. Now use a nude shadow to fill in the brow bone. And then take some concealer under the eyes with a small buff brush. And now for some bronzer contouring. Emma had a lot going on with the eyes and kept the skin really soft, so I'm actually using a really light brown eyeshadow to create a natural looking definition.
Looking at the trees, got the feeling that they were looking back at me. Thoughts that occurred to me.
And now some of that apricot blush with your large duo fiber. And then some creamy highlighter on the cheekbones and just inside the temples. Now for the gold leaf accents. They come in sheets and you can get them at your local arts and crafts store. I've already broken some down for easy access. Grab some lash glue, which should disappear once it dries. With the wrong end of a brush, I'm just going to pick up some glue and dab it onto the outer corner of this wing.
Coming my way, some call it
Now you can grab small pieces of the gold leaf with a tweezer and carefully place them on top of the glue to add some edgy sparkle to this look.
The higher forces want to connect. Last night in my dream I was talking to you. You know who you are.
Finish the eyes off with some mascara on the top and bottom lashes. And the lips with a beautiful apricot stain. And there you have it, the most magical makeup look of the season. Perfect for a red carpet event, or even just a night out dancing with your girlfriends. Are you daring enough to try it? Comment below and let me know what you think. This is Daniela from OneHopeMinute.com. Thanks for watching.